Welcome back to our Anno 1800 series with the new mod, New Horizon. That opens Asia and a whole new tier also in the old world, magnets, and much more than this, including regular invasions from the P4ians. We need to get ready for that. I'm definitely not right now. To recap, we have in the old world already, the engineers tier. We don't have investors yet, but we have the engineers tier. We also developed in the new world quite a lot, especially on Manola, mainly on Manola to be honest. But as you can see, we have all tiers of population, including the Artista, even if we haven't really started to expand these ones. And then last but not least, at the end of the last episode, I unlocked the Cape TRELAWNEY. Right, we have over here Crownfalls, and yeah, I've been building a lot on Crownfall. As you can see, here it is. This is Crownfall. There is already a lot of artisans, of course, also some farmers and workers, not yet engineers, but we're not far. Look at this. Right, I'm providing most of the things that we need. So we're gonna move to engineers soon, and hopefully maybe even in this episode to investors. So Crownfall, definitely this is the goal, to have a gigantic population over here of all kinds. Let's do a quick tour. So as I said, over here you can see population. This is a very basic layout, right, that repeats with some railway in the middle, right, so that we can bring in the future some trains with oil into those oil power plants. And then from time to time you can see some services, right? We have, for example, some services over here, a few more on this side, a few more on that side, and they're covering pretty well, right? But this is pretty well green. All of the roads are paved roads, right? So they cover pretty nicely even without too many of those buildings. So we're talking about 15,000 people already there, so that's pretty nice. And then we have a lot of the productions needed for these, right? So we start, for example, over here we have some schnapps. So very cute, well organized production of schnapps with the potatoes and the schnapps, and this fire station because this explodes often. Then we move here into the work closes, right? We have the ship in the middle and the work closes on the side. There's a few of these, I think there's 2 at least. We have also some sausage making, right? Pig and the sausage on this side. Next to it also the sop, again with more pigs. Except I added some wheat production in the back there to cover, those nice corners. That moves into this part over here where there's a lot more of those farms. There's also a number of flour mills and even the bakeries, right? And then that delivers into those medium warehouses. I have indeed started to have more medium warehouses and even large warehouses. Every time, obviously, they cost, to upgrade quite a bit, and they also cost more upkeep. Right, for example, this one is 100 of upkeep, this one is 50, the basic one is 25 if I remember correctly. So that is this production over here. I didn't actually start yet the beer on this island. We do have some malt, as you can see, there's a lot of malt, but there is no hop. So I still need to do that one. Moving on this side, a lot of fish production, right? We have also some meat, right? The beef over here. So this is 2 blueprints of stamps, right? You can find all of those stamps, by the way, on my Discord community. They're all available for free, no paywall. You just need to join the Discord community. And so yeah, that was the sop over here, right? We have the sop, we have the beef, we have of course some wood production, right? Then continuing on this side, we have some more production of grain that goes into a bit more also of bread, because we need bread. And you can see this is not even full. As well as a bit of the malt. We've started the malt on this side. And last but not least, you can see a lot of the sand mines. Half of them are paused, but there's quite a lot. There's also a lot of this glass maker, because we will need glass for some of the other productions in the future. So I'm preparing that for the future, but also right now just to make windows, right? We need to make windows, so that's what you can see on this side. And then if we go on top here, we've started also to use some of the mines. We have, for example, here some iron mines, coal mine, right? So that's gonna help us to make some steel into those furnaces, and then this steel can be used into steelwork to make some steel beams to be able to build new things over here, right? And also into the sewing machine factory for my artisans and then engineers in the future. And so now if we look at my people over here, they're getting fish and work closes, and of course the market. They're getting some schnapps and the pub, no problem. We've also started to give them some lifestyle needs, right? We have the flour over here, we have the soap. There's 2 others that we have unlocked, the sugar and the herbs, but we need to make that in the new world. So we'll jump into the new world for that in a second. Similarly, over here we have the workers, giving them also the sausage, the bread, the soap. We have the school. I haven't started to give them beer, but we are giving them, church. We have also started to give them some beef. We have also started to give them some chicken, right? So that's gonna help us to make some steel into those furnaces, and then this steel can be used into steelwork to be able to build new things over here, right? And also into the sewing machine factory for my artisans and then engineers in the future. And so now if we look at my people over here, they're getting fish and work closes, right? We have also started to give them some I haven't started to give them some rum or hot sauce or the balls, but this is all things coming from the new world that we could work on soon to increase our number of workers without having to put more houses, which takes space, but also without having to give them more sausage and things like this, right? Plus it also helps with the money. So that is number 3. And then number 4, we have the artisans over there. Like I mentioned, right, we have started to give them also the sewing machine. I didn't show you the canned food. We're going to look at that in a second. They are missing the fur coats. We're going to talk about it again in a second. They are not getting the beer and the rum. We know we're making rum in the new world, but I haven't started to bring it over here. And in lifestyle need, they actually want some clay and some wool. And I'm seeing that I'm not actually making enough wool. So let me make a note. You know, sometimes it's like in Satisfactory, I like to have notes over here so that I can add things that I need to do. But before we talk about the wool, right, and also the new world, as I mentioned, we have over here the canned food and the basic fur. So I've put it over here on this side. You may be wondering why. It's because I think it's going to be pretty easy for me to put electricity there, right? And my electricity or my oil will be over here. It will go into some of these for the population, and it can also go over here and provide a boost for those production. Because if you provide electricity for those production, their productivity will increase by a lot. So yeah, we have over here the corner for the canneries. There's quite a few canneries, 5 to be precise. And then we have a lot of the artisanal kitchens that are taking the beef that we're making on site. And they're taking red pepper that is not made on site. We don't have the red pepper fertility on Crownfall, right? So I had to start to create other islands. I took the first one that is the closest possible, right, to Crownfall, as you can see, and started just putting a couple of these red pepper farms, enough for, you know, my current production, but there's definitely still a lot of space. We haven't made any trade union yet, but definitely this could be in the future an island where we make a trade union for the red pepper. I am also, you know, making clay over here, because remember, you do need clay for what I think it's the workers that want clay, or the artisans, no, the artisans that want clay. So yeah, we have that one over here. We have also, you know, a couple of these depots to ensure that there is a good product, not production, storage. Actually, maybe let's show the storage over here. So we have the red pepper and we have the clay. Oops, wrong one. Red pepper, clay, and red pepper. So that's my 2 productions that are happening over here. And then, yeah, I made also a second island pretty much next to it, right? Again, this is the closest one possible that has the fur abundance. There is also 3 clay deposits, so we're doing the same. This is fur and clay. We have those clay deposits over here, and then we have all of these hunting cabins. They're all working at 150% to be precise, because they all have enough trees to hunt at 100%. Plus, I have boosted by 50% those 2 production. In those islands over here, where there is no houses, right? There's no houses. We're just using the free workforce that we have available. You should always boost those production as much as you can. Yes, it will show you, you know, very negative happiness of workers, but there's no houses. So that means there's no risk of fire, there's no risk of riot, etc. You know, if you look over here, it says no incidents can start, because again, there's no houses. As long as you stay, I think it's under 200 of population with actual houses, you're fine. You will never get any of those problems. So yeah, we're producing, you know, with this one small island, 13 of fur and 9 clay. For free, basically, right? Yeah, I mean, it costs, we can check, it does cost a bit of money. Oh, here it is, 680, right? It costs 680 to run this whole island, but no resources needed or anything. So yeah, then we have, you know, a ship. It's one of these, this one, that just goes from this island to the Cape and delivers this fur. So you may be wondering why is therefore, why don't we have any fur coats? Well, one, I have paused those buildings over here so that they don't cost me maintenance, but more importantly, we haven't started to bring the cotton fabric. So yeah, next step is definitely going to be going to the new world to get some sugar, to get some cotton fabric. So let's unpause now all of these. Yeah, we also need rum, we also need hot sauce. I mean, let's actually unlock them all, or, you know, activate them all, so that I see these needs. Oh yeah, it was sugar and herbs. That was the next one. So herbs was the next one. And for my artisans, they want the balls also, okay? And yeah, they also definitely want some rum. So my rum production is definitely gonna need to get a nice boost if we want to keep track with it. But yeah, let's go to the new world, where unfortunately you can see I don't have the fertility for herbs, and I'm 199% sure we can't get a farm for herbs either. Let's check it. Yeah, there's no farms for herbs either. On the other hand, there is definitely a farm for sugarcane. So I have created over here 4 farms for sugarcane. Here it is. using the Hacienda one so that it's 64 fields instead of the crazy number that you usually need, which is what in this case 128. Right? So we have 4 of these, and then we have 4 of these sugar refineries. We're gonna start making the sugar cane out of sugar. I don't think I started to make a road. Let's check it. Oh, I did. Sorry, my bad. So there is a clipper that is coming just now, I think, to get some sugar and bring it to the old world. We'll see. And I can check now. So if I click on sugar, manola, and then cornflour, are we producing enough? Yes, we are. We need 4. We're producing 8. So totally fine over here. Then next, we said we need some herbs, and it's not available on this island. Unfortunately, it's not available on this island either. Not on that one. We do have the orchid, but not the herbs. Same here. Same there. Okay. So this island here that is unsettled doesn't have it either. Ooh, this one has it. Okay. So we need to get to that island ASAP. Take it over before somebody else does. So we can get some herbs here. This is a bit annoying that it is pretty close to the pirates. So we're gonna have to keep that in mind. But yeah, I don't really have a choice. I need some herbs. Then we said we need a lot more of cotton, right? Because if we look at my cotton production right now, it is, basically we're using 4 potentially out of the 10. So we have +6, but we're also sending some to Beard. Yeah, we're sending basically most of it to Beard right now. So we need to expand the cotton production. That is over here. Let me work on that and I'll see you in a minute. So let's move back to the new world. I have already done a bit of extension of the cotton. You can see over here, right? We've added a few of these cotton mill. We've added cotton plantations here, there, all the way over here. Right? We're keeping roads on this side so that we can access all of these mines, right? But well organized. I was also just now starting to do the ball manufacturing. You can see we have some Nandu feather production, which I put over here. This is not a stamp, I just created it on the fly, right? We have the Nandu farm, you have 4 pastures, and then you can have a silo. I didn't build a silo, but we can have it for the future to increase also our feather production. Then we will need one more thing. Where are we? Over here. As you can see, we will need also some caoutchouc. We don't have the caoutchouc fertility on this island, but what you can do is put an hacienda farm. Because an hacienda farm does have this caoutchouc thing, and you can actually put, on an island that doesn't have the fertility, it still works with the hacienda. So the hacienda is really, really powerful, to be honest, like almost a bit too powerful. So let's go, let's put a few of these. I don't know how many we need, but we're gonna put a few. Start with 2 over here, extend the fields, a few more. Let's put at least, let's see, put 2 more over here. And how far is the warehouse? Yeah, we may need another warehouse though. Like this is starting to be a lot for just one hacienda to to manage. So let's just move maybe this a bit further. Create one of these. Place it. This is getting a bit tight. Let me see, and if we do something a bit smart like this, yeah, okay. So we're gonna start with that one, take all of these space here, okay. Then we can do that guy. Okay, so how much are we talking about now? We have put only 4, wow. That's not great, because this is a 1-minute production, okay? So we're gonna need a lot more caoutchouc, even more than what I can fit over here. Now we still have space for the hacienda on this side, but this is a lot of caoutchouc. And you may know, why do I need so much? Well, I did create a huge production over here of balls, because we need balls for a couple of different productions. If I'm not mistaken, it is, yeah, the jornaleros over here, right? They want the balls. So if I were to take out these ones, you would see the concept, like now I need pretty much nothing, right? Versus, yeah, with these guys, you need quite a lot just on this island, right? It is, we already need 6 on this island. We will also need more of them when we start having more artista, right? And last but not least, it is also a good needed by, I don't remember which one, but one of these 2, yeah, here it is, the workers. The workers also need that, right? So this is why, and if we look over here, how many do they need? They need 8. That's why this consumption or this need is super high. And so I'm gonna need to work on this. Then next is we said we also need some herbs. So over here I colonize this small island, put a couple of small herbs farms or herbs garden they're called. I think we probably need to upgrade this warehouse or put another one over here, but I don't have the resources. And then we need to transfer those herbs. I think what we're going to do is transfer those herbs first to Manola, sorry. And by the way, let's rename Manola to Neon Knight, who just joined as a YouTube member on the channel. Thank you, Neon Knight. Oh, there is missing an eye. Thank you for your support over here. But yeah, we're gonna send it first over here so that we can then use these herbs, for example, to make mezcal and to make some other productions. And then we're gonna have another ship that's going to take, herbs that may be already over here. Let's see. No, we don't have some yet, but herbs that are over here. I'm gonna put this -50 stock and then send all of this to the Cape. Speaking of the Cape, I also added over here a small block for wool. It is only making wool, not clothes, just wool, because remember we need wool as one of the lifestyle need too. So yeah, now we are finally above and finally, more than 50 of production. That's pretty big. That's pretty big. So yeah, I think we're starting to get even more of the lifestyle need. And see here, they've started to get the sugar. Soon they should start to get herbs too. For my workers, we have given the beef. I need to make a lot more caoutchouc for the soccer balls. I need to work on the hot sauce and more rum too. And for these guys over here, they have started to get the fur coats. Look at this. We have some fur coats. We haven't started to give the balls. Oh, they also want balls. That's okay. But we have started to give the wool, and also the clay is getting there. So that is great. And yeah, as I said, we now have access to some engineers. Let's make sure we also, as always, put a +10 here to make some good money. Yeah, we're making some nice money over here. But yeah, we're gonna upgrade some people to engineer after I fix this hot sauce and this caoutchouc. See you in a minute. And ladies and gents, we have more routes. I need to organize them, but just wanted to show you quickly. Right, we're bringing, for example, the herbs, we're bringing the hot sauce, we're bringing, of course, the sugar, we're bringing the soccer balls. Then I have also added a couple of new islands over here. The small islands, it's always great to start with those small islands where in reality you can't do much. So just do what you can, which is, there's no people on it, but we still have 3 clay pits and we have quite a few of these hop farm working over here. Of course, we're pushing, oh no, I forgot to push it, sorry, my bad. So we're gonna push, the workforce to the top, great. That way we make even more. Let's actually check. We're gonna make 10 hop and 9 clay. That is amazing. So this is just with this island, right? No need to do anything else. Now you may see that there is one building we haven't built. This is a trade union, and it's a trade union actually that's going to cover all 3 of these mines. So if ever we need to use those mines, we can put items over here, and in particular there are some items that reduce the workforce needed for those mines, so that because we only have 50 right now, right? 50 workforce for 3 left. This could potentially also help me to get, some of those hop farm better. But for now, we don't really need it. I also haven't built those depot yet. We're gonna do that soon, so that we have, good reserves. And then what I try to do is I always put, what we're actually producing over here, right? So producing clay and hop on this one. And then we have another small one over here where there is already 3 clay. There was also hop there, but the reality is I don't need that much more hop. On the other hand, at some point we will need the grape. So I think this will be a similar, island as this one, but instead of being full of hop, we will make it full of grape in the future. So yeah, some ships that are bringing now this clay and this hop to my main island, because, on clay, I do need a lot, right? We're talking about 25 needed. I'm only producing 4 on this island, but now if we select also paper and clay, clay and nothing, and clay and hop, you can see we get to 28. So that is perfect. And yeah, as I said, we started to use the hop into those breweries over here. I'm not actually sure we have enough yet, but let me check. Yeah, here it is. You can see we have the beer and also the rum. I finished this, it's coming. So my artisans over here are really happy, right? Some of them are super ready to become engineers. They're also getting the wool, the clay, and the soccer balls. My farmers also super happy, right? They're getting flour, sugar, soap, and herbs on top. And last but not least, we have the workers. They're getting everything except indeed I paused the beer there. And here they are getting it all, including some more rum. So I definitely had to increase my rum production by a lot. Now, if I unpause, given that we've unpaused this, okay, I can see we're not making enough in the brewery. I could potentially just, put plus 50% over here. But given that We have space, I'm just adding 2 more there, and it is, now we're at 12. Now we just need to make sure we're making enough malt. We're not, obviously that makes sense. I have some malt over here, but I've also been adding over there. So you can see we made another, this is the equivalent of a small island, like this one, right? But this is on the Cape. And the reason I'm using those small islands for farms is this is where you can fit a lot of these modules, right? Because this is one module, but it's a lot harder to fit something like this, right? You're gonna lose space. So I guess we're gonna continue. We have another one over here. I'm gonna put a bit more of malt and maybe also a bit more hop and wheat, depending on what's needed. But before, let me show you that here, yeah, it's time to, really get a number of engineers. So let's go. All of these engineers, and I'm thinking we're also going to put all of these here, and maybe also these ones there, because I don't need that much artisans, right? Versus we're gonna need engineers. We're also going to need a lot of investors and even potentially magnets in the future, right? So there's a lot that needs to be done. Plus, again, as I said, we're gonna put the oil probably over here. So that means I think we're gonna put electricity there and this electricity here. And that will cover nicely, I think, all of these guys. And then we can see later if we need to upgrade some of the other blocks. Maybe we'll also need a bit more of farmers in the future over here. But yeah, with all of these engineers, I think we have unlocked pretty much everything. Yeah, here it is. We've unlocked everything. We unlocked the spectacles, the coffee, the electricity, light bulbs. Then for happiness, we have the penny farthing, the pocket watches, and the bank. So the bank is actually one that I'd love to build. Now, we probably don't have what it takes. Yeah, it takes this reinforced concrete. So we're going to need to make reinforced concrete. But this is something that gives a lot of money. Look at this, 55 coins per houses. And you just put one building and you're done, right? Like, it may not fit over here. I guess we'll put it probably right in the middle here, right? Kill a couple of the houses or move them. We're gonna put it over here, and that's going to support, all of these houses, no problem. Okay, and then in terms of lifestyle need, let's check it out. So we still have the soap, so let's unlock it. There is also chocolate and mezcal that we have unlocked in the new world but haven't started. And there's quite a few new things we haven't unlocked yet. But yeah, we're getting very close to investors, ladies and gents. So let me work on making sure this is all at equilibrium for the beer in particular. Wow, that is a lot of negative stuff. So I think exceptionally, I'm going to use more than I do usually. I'm gonna use those 3. Okay. So yeah, I need to make sure we have enough of the basic productions like beer and maybe also here the rum and the soap. And I'll see you in a sec. Another thing I wanted to show you is that in the Cape, you have Nate, all Nate over here. He's going to give you a salvager. I think it costs like 15, 16,000 coins. And with this, we're going to be able to dive. So it is, let's dive where they tell us to dive right now. But in the future, we'll also get some missions. And yeah, with this, we found some scrap. Now, you may be wondering what to do with this. Well, you go to the lighthouse, right? And it's going to tell you what to do with it. And we're going to be able to do things, obviously, in the future with this scraps. You can see, for example, over here, right? We have a bell. This is going to increase the chance of finding rare items. Or here we have an echolocation to find treasures and mines. We have here the salvage amount will increase, and many other items. Some that are, for this ship, like I showed you over here, but also some that are for your city, of course. Like this is a great one for your city. Workforce minus 20%, right? Or we have over here coastal production plus 35%. And most of these will cost you normal resource, right? Like some steel, but will also cost you some scrap. So this is why you want to find some of the scrap. You can also go here and you will see different items, including some maps for treasures. For example, here, this is a quest for a treasure animal, right? First, he has already given us, a certain place to go to, and we can see also a lot of other ships, right? It seems we're not the first one to buy all net information, right? There's already people there. Let's check it out. Let's dive. Let's dive. Before them. Here it is. We can see the diver going inside. But they're leaving. They've already checked this place, so there's probably nothing here. But yeah, we're gonna need to try basically to find it before them, right? If we want to succeed over here. We did find something. The Lost Journeys Journal of Nadaski. My father's strategist. So if we click on it, nothing happens because we first need to deliver it here so we can sort of repair it basically. You need enough artisans, then you need to make sure you have also a new university, but I think we've done everything there. So here it is. We have now the first page are legible. You can read them, right? So we can sit over here, yeah. Click on it and read it. Following the king's command to intercept Admiral Silver Flotilla, we arrive at Cape Trelawney at 1 p.m. The entire armada is here. Wow. Imposing size and might. You can actually see them on the map, by the way. There is one over here, one there, and one over here. Some of them seems protected. I'm gonna go to the one where they are not there, right? So let's go. And yes, ceasefire, that's an important one. You know, I don't want to deal with them right now, and I have money, so even if they ask for a bit of money sometime, like 4,000, it's fine. We can pay that with our 2 million coins. So here it is, that's done. So we're gonna check all 3 of those spots, right? Dive over there. Gonna be a bit of story. We found some scrap there, so it's not the place, right? Let's go to another over here. There is a bit of protection, but these are not barracks, right? So it is, let's do the second. They let you pass, you know, you don't even need an army. This is not a military quest. You could be saying, could have been better, but no. And here we have, you know, the tower. This was the last place. So this is where the real magic may happen. Let's see. What do we have here? Let's dive. And... ooh, we found something! Before them! Yes, this is just half of it. We have the Spectre, but we don't have the Eagle. And he says, we are both looking for it. But he's leaving. Where are you going? It's split into 3. Oh. So we got 1 piece out of 3. Where can we find the rest? So we deliver again to the artisans. And they've made a new version of the journal. So let's check it out. We have now new pages, right? Ornate can help you find the treasure and avoid the sea mines. Oh, I gonna open fire this morning. We engage in battle. Conflict which lasted until 7 in the evening. We lost many good men. Sorry. I'm sorry. But yes, we need to go back now to Ornate. He's going to help us with something really critical to be able in particular to do many of these missions that you can buy or that you can also get from time to time from him. In the meantime, you know, by the way, the Queen is also giving us another mission over here, the Harbor Master Office and Piers. I don't know if we have the resources. Let's check it out. We have the pier over here, so we could definitely put 2 over there, and the Harbor Master is over here. Okay. Then we need to deliver some steel and some quartz to Nate. Okay, couldn't you have told me that before I went there? Maybe let's just deliver all of this and take a bit of this. So we said a bit of steel. Actually, it's just 5. Let's take 5 and 5 quartz. We definitely have many of these. You can see I also just built a zinc and copper mine, as well as started the production of reinforced concrete. So that is great there. He wants some resources, so let's go there. Let me show you. I have built over here the bank. Right, beautiful building. It's looking nice in the middle of the city there. And I did build also the production of reinforced concrete over here. We have some steel and some cement. The steel comes from the same place as before. I think it's somewhere over here. Yeah, it is. We have sewing machine, actually more than before. And we have also more furnaces. And then the limestone is limestone mine, right? So actually you have one here and one there. We are using more and more of the mines, by the way, because the more steel you need, the more of those mines you're gonna have to manage. And yeah, we definitely need to start making some of these other things like penny farthing, pocket watches, but at least we have the bank over here. We're gonna want also to make the spectacle and the light bulbs in a second. Let's deliver to Nate. And he says, oh, he gives us an echo. That is very important. So let's actually give it to that guy. Yeah, it is. So now we have an echo location. It's not the best one. I think it's the middle one, if I remember correctly. Let's see. Oh no, it is the basic one, okay. Because there are some better ones in the future that we can do, but that's okay. For now, let's just get this one. And yeah, we're gonna follow basically, you know, the what these things tells us. Here it is. It tells us that there's something this side. Alright, look at this. You can see it is yellow and it's showing that way. Now there's some red. What is red? This is the mines. Obviously, we're gonna want to avoid those mines. So maybe we go a bit more this side. It is, we found the mine. And here we can see the actual things we need to find. Oh, they're already here. He has found the second piece before us. Damn! In the best interest of both our nations, I agree to surrender the piece of the Sceptre that is in my custody in the event of my failing to discover the final piece. Basically, whoever gets the third one gets everything. So then they tell us to go to one of these and to read the journal again. The king is indeed mad. He appears to care nothing for our victory and was upset in the extreme to learn that we hadn't begun pursuit. Ooh, he's adamant that the Sceptre is on board. Okay. My wound fester and my fever worsen. The doctor say I'm a push down my pain. Oh, that is not nice, poor guy. So we need to follow the hint to find the wreckage. And that, I'm pretty sure, is over here, I guess. That's where they are. You can see all of them. They're just looking on the wrong side of the island. Oh, we need to be careful probably of mines. Let me see. Let me see. There's nothing. Oh, there's something close by here. But this is probably just some scraps. But you will find many on the map. Now, they're not yellow, right? Oh, that is good. That is good. This was not yellow, as I said, right? Why don't I see anything yellow over here? Oh, there's more logs. Okay. I need to throw something overboard. I don't have no space. Send the one that's close by. Okay, so let's check the log. Right. Our patrol was unavailable. We have new orders. We encounter southeast of the mainland. Okay. We've sunk it. So basically southeast, if I remember correctly, that was over here what I mentioned at the beginning. Yes, you can see it, it's there. So we go for it. He's offering us a quest. We can do it later on after we're finished with that one. Go for it fast. Over here. And we can actually even follow. Let's find it. Dive there. And we should win this one. Yes, we have the second piece, right? And so we just need to sell now to the last guy, to the, you know, Spanish guy, and he's going to tell us to either, you know, give us the third piece, or he's gonna lie. I guess that depends. This is, I think, the mission that we just got. So let's go for there quickly. Done. Okay, and yeah, he's over here, so it should be easy. The queen is probably... Oh, what is that? Oh, no, this is another mission. Okay, there's a few more places. Yes, we did find it. Please give it to us and leave at once. Right? She's surprised that he, you know, actually did what he said he would. But yeah, we have all three pieces now. That's great. We need to deliver them, of course, as always, to our artisans there so that they can fix it. And then we'll be ready to win this mission. Deliver it to the artisans, right? Yeah, I'm here. Why are you not happy? Okay, so we've given them all. Okay. We need to also find some gold and some pearls. I'm pretty sure we have gold already that we found in the past, but now it's telling us to find some pearls at specific location. So let's just do this. Hopefully we can finish that mission with that quickly. Let's deliver the cargo, of course. Get some nice... And it is. This is something we can put in a museum if we had a museum. But we should probably do a museum, right? I think next we're gonna probably want also to have tourists and they're gonna want a museum. She wants us, you know, to build a museum, put the Spect in it. And with this, we would finish that mission. Can you believe that at the beginning of this episode, there was nothing on Cape TRELAWNEY, right? We had nothing, and now we have almost 20,000 people. It's basically half of my whole empire is over here. So to say differently, in one episode, we have doubled our population. We've also, by the way, exploded our balance, exploded our, you know, both the balance per day, but also our bank account. So we are in a great space now to really move on with engineers to make, you know, some electricity, some spectacles or light bulbs, penny farthing, pocket watches. The goal is going to make all of this. Plus, I think maybe we'll also start doing the tourist in the next episode and probably do a couple of other things in the New World. And after this is Direction Asia. I hope you're excited. Smash like button and I hope to see you next time.